Amid the hum of my boutique, Elegance by Laura, a text flashed across my phone screen. I'm out, Laura. Heading to Miami with Tara, my 22-year-old girlfriend. Joint accounts wiped, sorry, LOL. Greg's words, sharp as a blade, cut through the soft chatter of customers browsing silk scarves and designer handbags. My hands didn't tremble as I folded a cashmere sweater for Mrs. Callahan, a loyal client with a knack for town gossip. My voice stayed steady, offering her a choice between teal and ivory wrapping. Only a slight tightening around my eyes hinted that my husband of 10 years had just detonated our marriage with a single message. I'm Laura Bennett, 36, and in that moment, I received what might be the cruelest farewell ever sent by text. Greg, 43, probably imagined me collapsing in tears, shattered by his betrayal and his smug LOL. Instead, I rang up Mrs. Callahan's purchase, tucked the sweater into our signature teal tissue, and smiled as she promised to return for the new spring collection. The second she stepped out, I locked the boutique's glass door, flipped the sign to closed, and typed back, "Safe travels, Greg." Then I exhaled, letting the weight of his words settle without breaking me. The signs had been there for months, like cracks in a foundation I'd refused to ignore. Greg's late nights at his sales job, which never matched the deposits in our joint account. His phone, once an open book, now locked with a new passcode he changed monthly. The sudden obsession with the gym, trading his comfortable polos for fitted shirts and sneakers that screamed midlife crisis. 3 months ago, I'd found a crumpled receipt in his jacket pocket, dinner for 2 at the Coastal Rose, a romantic spot by the harbor, on a night he'd sworn he was buried in spreadsheets. That same evening, I opened a personal savings account at a different bank, quietly transferring most of my earnings from the boutique. When Greg suggested simplifying our finances by pooling everything into the joint account, I'd agreed with a smile, leaving just enough in it, about 2 months' worth of deposits, to keep him from suspecting anything. My phone buzzed again. No point begging, Laura. Tara and I leave tomorrow. I'll send for my stuff. Tara, the receptionist from his office. I'd met her at his company's winter gala, her laughter too loud at Greg's tired jokes, her fingers brushing his arm when she thought no one noticed. She was young enough to be his niece, naive enough to believe she was his soulmate. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Ellen, my lawyer, an old college friend, whom I'd consulted 6 weeks ago after spotting a $400 hotel charge on our credit card statement for a weekend Greg claimed he was at a conference. He's made his move, I said. Time to act. Papers are ready, Ellen replied, her voice crisp. I can file tomorrow. Want him served in Miami? Let him think he's won for now, I said, hanging up. Another text from Greg, must be rough, getting older and stuck with your little shop. At least it'll keep you busy. My little shop was Elegance by Laura, a boutique I'd built from a single pop-up stand into a thriving business that out-earned Greg's mid-level sales job. I smirked, picturing the certified letters Ellen had prepared, waiting to greet him in Miami. I spent the evening in my house, mine, inherited from my Aunt Rose, kept in my name despite Greg's hints to add his to the deed. Another instinct that paid off. While sorting paperwork for Ellen, I found our wedding album. Greg looked so different then, before his midlife crisis turned him into a caricature, too tight jeans, slang that sounded absurd from a man nearing 50. His texts kept coming, Tara gets me in ways you never could. You'll be fine, maybe find some guy your age. I screenshotted each one, saving them in a folder labeled evidence. Let him gloat. Tomorrow, he'd learn what happens when you underestimate a woman who's been watching, waiting, and planning. Looking back, the cracks in Greg's loyalty had been visible for nearly a year, like faint lines in a mirror before it shatters. His overtime at Harper Solutions, where he managed a small sales team, started stretching into the early hours, yet our joint account showed no extra deposits. He'd come home smelling of cologne I didn't recognize, his phone buzzing with notifications he'd silence with a quick glance. By last summer, he'd traded his sensible loafers for flashy sneakers and started quoting slang from Tara's generation, as if he could erase the 20-year gap between them. I wasn't naive, but I wasn't confrontational either. Instead, I watched, cataloging every inconsistency. 4 months ago, I found a receipt tucked in his gym bag, $180 for dinner at the Coastal Rose, a place we'd never visited together. The date matched a night he'd claimed a client meeting ran late. That evening, I sat at my desk in the boutique's back office, the scent of lavender candles mixing with the weight of suspicion. I opened a savings account at First Coastal Bank, separate from our joint one at Midland Trust. Over the next week, I transferred 80% of my boutique's profits there, leaving just enough in the joint account to mirror our usual patterns. Greg noticed nothing, too busy with his new protein shakes and mirror selfies. When he suggested combining our finances to make things easier, I agreed with a practiced smile, knowing my real savings were safe. I'd also started documenting his odd transactions, random ATM withdrawals, charges at boutique hotels an hour away, even a $200 spa day he claimed was a team-building expense. Each receipt, each bank alert, went into a locked folder on my laptop, titled Contingency. 2 months ago, a $400 charge for a weekend at the seaside appeared on our joint credit card, dated for a conference Greg attended alone. That's when I called Ellen. "I think he's planning something," I told her over coffee at her office. "I need to be ready." Ellen, sharp as ever, laid out my options: protect my assets, gather evidence, and prepare for divorce. "Your boutique and your aunt's house are in your name," she said. "Keep them that way. Start building a paper trail." I did. Every suspicious charge, every late-night text he hid from me, was screenshotted or noted. I even photographed his new wardrobe, the receipts for designer jeans he couldn't afford on his salary alone. My boutique, Elegance by Laura, was my fortress. Its profits, meticulously tracked, were never mingled with our joint funds, despite Greg's complaints about my obsessive bookkeeping. My phone buzzed with another of his texts: "Tara and I have been planning this for months. You'll be fine, Laura. Maybe take up knitting or something." I laughed, saving the message. Knitting? He'd always mocked my boutique as a hobby, ignoring how it grossed 6 figures last year while his bonuses dwindled. Another text: "My family knows. They get why I had to leave. We just grew apart." I forwarded it to Ellen, adding it to the growing file. Let him think his family was on his side. I knew better. His sister Amanda had already texted me privately, asking if the rumors about Tara were true. I didn't answer her yet. Timing was everything. That night, I poured a glass of Pinot Noir, the bottle I'd saved for our anniversary next month. In my house, my sanctuary, with its oak floors and memories of Aunt Rose, I reviewed my next steps. The joint account Greg had emptied held $8,000, a fraction of what I'd secured elsewhere. The credit card he'd used for his Miami plans? I'd already noted the charges. I called Midland Trust's fraud department. "Mrs. Bennett, this is Sarah," the representative said. "Can you confirm the unauthorized charges?" 2 first-class tickets to Miami, booked today, and a reservation at the oceanfront Palms, I said. My husband texted me admitting he used the card for his girlfriend's trip. I'd like him removed as an authorized user. Sarah's tone held a hint of glee. "I'll cancel those charges and remove him. Can you send the texts for our records?" I did, knowing Greg and Tara would arrive at the airport to find their plans in tatters. Let him think he'd outsmarted me. I'd been building my defense for months, and his every move was another brick in my case. The next morning, my phone erupted with Greg's furious texts. "What did you do to the credit card? The airline canceled our tickets. The hotel's gone too." I silenced his number and headed to Elegance by Laura, where a shipment of leather handbags awaited. Fridays were our busiest, and I wasn't about to let Greg's tantrum derail my day. As I arranged a display of quilted purses, Sophie, my assistant manager, noticed my focus. "Everything okay, Laura?" she asked, her 25-year-old energy a contrast to my calm. I nodded, not ready to share the storm brewing beneath my surface. By noon, I'd confirmed with Sarah at Midland Trust that the Miami charges were voided. Greg's name was off the card, and the $8,000 he'd taken from the joint account was flagged as fraudulent. Ellen called to update me, the divorce papers are filed. I've requested an emergency hearing for Monday to freeze any remaining shared assets. His texts are gold, admitting he emptied the account? That's financial misconduct. I smiled, imagining Greg and Tara stranded at a budget motel, their Miami fantasy crumbling. Tara's social media, which Sophie had slyly checked, showed her posting cryptic quotes about unexpected obstacles from a dingy airport lounge. The boutique buzzed with customers, many drawn by Mrs. Callahan's gossip. Heard about your husband, one whispered, buying a scarf. Men like that never learn. I thanked her, keeping my focus on the register. By afternoon, the town's rumor mill had painted me as the wronged but unshaken wife, and sales spiked as women came to support me. Sophie, ever perceptive, suggested we lean into it with a women's empowerment sale next week. You're a legend already, she said, grinning. I laughed, grateful for her spark. Greg's next text came through a new number. You think you're clever, messing with my plans? I've got copies of your boutique's books. Half that place is mine. I forwarded it to Ellen, who replied, he's dreaming. Your business is a sole proprietorship, predating the marriage. Keep him talking. I didn't respond to him, letting his arrogance fuel his mistakes. My boutique, started with a $10,000 loan from Aunt Rose, was mine alone. Greg's input had been complaints about my late hours, not contributions. That evening, Barbara, Greg's mother, called. Laura, dear, Greg says you're sabotaging his trip. He claims you've been controlling, pushing him away. I put her on speaker while restocking earrings. Did he mention draining our account or charging his girlfriend's vacation to our card? Silence. Then, he said you left him no choice. I sighed. Barbara, I have his texts bragging about it. Want me to read them? Another pause. He was harsh, she admitted. I told him that LOL was cruel. I ended the call politely, citing Ellen's advice to limit contact with Greg's family. Their loyalty to him was wavering, but I didn't need their validation, I had my plan. By night, I reviewed my evidence folder, screenshots, receipts, bank statements. Greg's overconfidence had blinded him to my vigilance. His Miami escape was grounded, and my boutique was thriving, fueled by community support and my quiet resolve. Tomorrow, I'd unpack a new shipment and prep for the sale Sophie proposed. Life moved forward, even as Greg's world unraveled. Monday's emergency hearing was a masterclass in preparation. I sat beside Ellen in the courthouse, my navy blazer crisp, my evidence folder organized. Greg arrived in a too-tight blazer and jeans, his attempt at youthful flair clashing with the room's solemnity. Tara waited outside, her bright sundress a stark contrast to the gray marble halls. Ellen presented our case with precision, Greg's texts admitting he'd emptied the $8,000 joint account, the fraudulent credit card charges for Miami, a year's worth of suspicious hotel and restaurant receipts. Each document was a brick in the wall I'd built. Greg's lawyer, a harried man named Mr. Vance, tried to spin it. My client made impulsive choices, Your Honor, but Mrs. Bennett's actions, canceling his travel, were vindictive. Ellen didn't flinch. Prudent, not vindictive. My client protected her separate assets, including her business, which predates the marriage. Here's the incorporation paperwork. She slid my boutique's documents across the table, proving elegance by Laura was mine alone. Greg's face reddened as the judge skimmed the evidence. I show Nexus's platform, predictive algorithms, blockchain tracking, unhackable. Evan thought he could hide. He couldn't. Neither can anyone. Applause ripples. Offstage, Claire and Gwyn, rival CEO, grabs me. He pitched us a merger with fake data. I nod, handing her a file. Page 10, his real numbers. Share it. She smiles. We're backing you. My phone buzzes, Grace, industry coalition forming against Evan's tactics. I text back, push it. Evan didn't just betray me, he targeted the industry, pitching lies to spark a bidding war. Now, leaders are uniting. My dashboard pings, Lydia's trying to access a Singapore wallet. I block it, smirking. She's running out of moves. At Nexus's office, I brief the board. Claire's firm, we're rebranding, Phoenix Systems, under your leadership. I unveil plans, ethical tech, global reach. Evan's allies are gone, replaced by my picks. My phone buzzes, anonymous, you've gone too far. Evan, probably. I reply, not far enough. Leo's update, Evan's assets frozen, $47 million. I forward it to the SEC. Clients flood my inbox, pledging loyalty. Your Nexus's heart, one writes. I draft a client clause, automatic renewal if leadership tries unauthorized sales. Evan never read contracts, my clients did. Grace calls. Interpol's tracking Lydia. Her scam history's public. I nod, checking my paper trail, duplicates of every digital file, notarized, untouchable. A memory hits, Evan mocking my backups. Nobody uses paper, Anna. Now, those papers are his downfall. I think of our early days, me coding, him schmoozing. He never saw my audits, my vigilance. When he siphoned $50,000, I logged it. When he faked $200,000 in revenue, I saved proof. My foresight saved Nexus. At the summit's gala, industry leaders approach. Your tech's the future, Aiden says. I hand him a proposal, Nexus's global expansion. Let's talk, he agrees. My phone buzzes, Jessica Tran, Ethics Committee Chair, Joint Statement Against Market Manipulation. Sign on? I reply, yes. Evan's schemes united us, exposing his lies. Back at my apartment, rain taps the windows. I open my safe, check the paper trail, $400,000 in fraud, $300,000 offshore, Lydia's scams. Each document, a victory. I think of Evan's call, his laugh, now silenced. He thought he'd steal Nexus, my life. Instead, he's indicted, broke, alone. Lydia's fleeing, her account's dead. Leo calls. Evan's begging investors. No takers. I laugh. His charm's gone. Leo shows me a hacked email, Evan pleading with Lydia, unaware she's cut him off. He's done, Leo says. I nod, sipping tea. My divorce papers, signed, wait on the counter. Evan gets nothing, Nexus is mine. A tech journal emails, Nexus's Anna exposes CEO fraud. I'm unnamed, per my request. The truth matters, not my name. Evan's venture is dead, investors fleeing. Lydia's silent, her scams exposed. I don't gloat. I'm building Phoenix Systems, stronger, ethical, mine. I meet Claire at a cafe, Seattle skyline glowing. You rewrote the game, she says. I shake my head. I showed the board who Evan was. She nods. And who you are. I smile, humbled. Nexus, now Phoenix, isn't just tech, it's trust, community, truth. Rain falls, soft, steady. I think of our wedding, Evan's vows, now ash. He underestimated me, my tech, my resolve. I close my laptop, files secure. Tomorrow, I'll lead Phoenix, sign partnerships, face regulators. Tonight, I savor the quiet, knowing justice isn't revenge, it's building what they tried to break, better, brighter, mine. Seattle's dawn paints the skyline gold as I step into Phoenix Systems boardroom, renamed overnight. It's been 2 weeks since Evan's indictment, and our stock's soaring. My phone hums, Leo, Evan's plea deal offered. He's naming Lydia. I nod, setting up my laptop. Phoenix's rebrand, ethical tech, global reach, is live, and today's shareholder meeting seals it. Rain taps the windows, a soft rhythm to my resolve. The boardroom fills, executives buzzing. Claire, now chair, nods. Anna, you've transformed us. I project our new vision, blockchain security, AI-driven fraud detection, partnerships with Aiden Lee's firm. Phoenix rises from Evan's ashes, I say. Shareholders applaud, even Evan's old allies, now silent. My phone buzzes, Grace, SEC praises your evidence. Case airtight. I smile, showing a slide, Phoenix valuation doubles. News screams, CEO's fraud crumbles tech giant. Evan's face, not mine, splashes screens. Lydia's named in Interpol alerts, her Singapore account's dead. Clients flood my inbox, Phoenix is you, Anna. I've locked every contract with loyalty clauses, unbreakable. Evan's schemes united the industry, Claren Wen's coalition now sets anti-fraud standards. A knock at my office later, Grace, with divorce papers. Signed, sealed, she says. Evan gets nothing, Phoenix is mine. I thank her, checking my dashboard. Evan's last crypto wallet, $50,000, went dark yesterday. My tech trapped him. Lydia's silent, likely hiding. I don't care. Phoenix's future is my focus. At the Cybertech Summit, I'm keynote speaker. Seattle's skyline glows as I present Phoenix's platform. Truth can't hide, I say, showing Evan's failed transfers, now a case study. Tech leaders stand, clapping. Aiden signs a $10 million deal on stage. My phone buzzes, anonymous, you won. Lydia. I don't reply. She's irrelevant. Back at my apartment, I open my safe. The paper trail, $400,000 in fraud, $300,000 offshore, notarized, sits pristine. I think of Evan's mockery, paper's dead, Anna. Now, it's his prison. I recall our early days, me coding, him charming. He never saw my audits, my strength. When he stole $50,000, I logged it. When he lied to investors, I saved proof. I built Phoenix's soul. Leo calls. Evan's assets, $47 million, gone. He's broke. I nod. And Lydia? Running. No funds. I laugh, sipping tea. Evan's plea won't save him, Lydia's scams are exposed. A tech journal emails, Phoenix's Anna redefines security. I'm unnamed, as requested. The truth shines, not me. 5 years after Greg's text, I stood at a national women's business conference, addressing a packed room. My topic, protecting your empire, lessons in resilience. Elegance by Laura now had 5 locations, 40 employees, and a luxury accessories line launching next month. The media no longer mentioned Greg, my story was about building, not breaking. During the Q&A, a woman asked, my husband says separating finances is paranoid. What do you think? I smiled. My ex said the same until he tried to claim my business. Trust your instincts, protection isn't paranoia. Greg, I heard through Amanda, lived in a small apartment, working as a cashier after Harper Solutions eliminated his role. His dating profile, still claiming young at heart, went unanswered. Tara, now a successful social media consultant, shopped at my original boutique, once telling Sophie, Laura showed me what real strength looks like. Barbara attended my 5th anniversary celebration, wearing a dress from my store. Greg talks about his glory days, she said. He doesn't see he threw them away. I nodded, focusing on my employees' applause. In my office, Greg's text remained framed, have fun with your little shop. Below it, a sign read, success is the best revenge. My boutiques weren't just stores, they were proof that betrayal could spark something stronger. As I reviewed plans for a 6th location, I saw my reflection, not a woman diminished by age, but one sharpened by wisdom, thriving on her own terms.